latest installment of the Jurassic Park World franchise is now out in theaters. Jurassic World Rebirth. It is a movie that was made. I got nothing. I've seen a few movies in the theater this year, and I enjoyed Companion, liked Mickey 17. I even had fun with Captain America to an extent. It wasn't great. Thunderbolts was awesome. I saw Sinners recently. That was great. I saw Revenge of the Sith for the 20-year anniversary. Beautiful. This is probably the first film in the theater that I didn't have a good time with. Number one, because my experience at the theater itself was kind of lackluster. Okay. Let me also preface. I'm a big fan of this franchise, okay? I can be pretty forgiving. I like Fallen Kingdom. I liked Jurassic World a whole lot. Dominion has its problems, but even still, it was nice getting the old crew back together from the first film. And I love Lost World, I really do, and I have a soft spot for Jurassic Park 3. So, when I heard that they were making a new movie and Gareth Edwards was at the helm and David Koepp was the screenwriter, I was like, alright, cool. Then I saw the trailers and I was like, alright, just feels a little repetitive of things we've seen before. So I go get my popcorn, I go get my drink, I get my food, my beverages and stuff. I take pictures of the stuff because, I took a picture of the poster, I took a picture of the plushies and shit, and, they had the popcorn buckets, and it's like, okay, yeah, cool. So I sit down, and it's like, 10:20 my time, 10:20 a.m. my time. And, trailers start playing. Then a couple comes up, and they sit in the two seats next to me. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. They're messing around on their phone. I was like, all right, hopefully they don't do that when the movie starts. So like 20 minutes into this movie, every couple minutes they're both just dicking off on their phone. I'm like, okay, this is going to get annoying. And then a baby starts crying. Yeah. But even then, that does not deter me in the slightest from watching the movie. I'm paying attention, I'm engaged, I'm seeing what's going on. The movie starts, we establish the characters, we establish where we're at in the timeline, and it's great. Then, the guy next to me answers his phone for a phone call. And at that point, I said, okay, fine, I'm not doing this. So I got up, went to the front row. And I sat down in an empty seat, and I said, I am not going to deal with someone dicking off on their phone the whole time. Still didn't jade my experience at all. The experience itself, maybe, but the movie itself, no. The movie I have a problem with, rather multiple problems with, because as the movie progresses, I found myself being like, okay, I've seen this before. Okay, I've seen this before. Oh, I've seen this before. Oh, I remember this from the book. And I'm just not impressed. This movie was hollow. This movie lacked soul. This movie looks good visually, but I don't care about any of the characters. The majority of things that move this movie along have been done in other films in the franchise, and the characters are superbly unlikable. None of them. Okay, let's start there with the characters. We've got Jonathan Bailey as Dr. Henry Loomis. You find out that he was once an understudy of Alan Grant. It's like, oh, okay, there's a connection there from the first movie. Well, he's just kind of like Grant, but more annoying? He's making these really fast-lipped quips, and he's got this thing going on with Scarlett Johansson's character where it's kind of like a will they, won't they, because he's the nerd and she's the muscle. And it's like, okay, I guess. They were fine with what they were handed to do, but even still, I just found myself going, yeah, I don't care about any of these characters. And that goes double for Scarlett Johansson. She appears at the beginning of the movie with Rupert Friend, and she's like, oh, I heard you heard about me. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll do your job. Whatever. What is it? Oh, we're getting dinosaur DNA? Yeah, sure, whatever. Let me also preface, the movie opens up with like a 17 years into the past. Oh, there's another InGen facility on this island. We're making crazy dinosaurs. Oh, there's this big mutant one, but it's not an Indominus Rex. No, this predates the Indominus Rex. It's called the D-Rex. And it's this big alien-looking dinosaur, and it's got 4 arms, and it's... God, even thinking about it just makes me frustrated, because there's no originality here. Nothing. And at the same time, like, I see the complaints through every other movie in the franchise. At least Jurassic World had the novelty idea of, what if the park actually opened? Okay, and then Fallen Kingdom ends with, what if dinosaurs actually roam the planet? Does Dominion make a good, like, leap from that? No, but still, you got Alan Grant, you got Ian Malcolm, and you got Ellie Sadler back. And that was cool. You got to see them interact with, Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, even though those characters kind of peaked after Jurassic World. But here, there's, like, so many things where I'm just like, okay, I've seen a version of this in another installment of the movie. The only good, like, tense sequence, in my opinion, was kind of like the opening with the Mosasaurus. You see the Mosasaurus attack one boat, then attack the other boat. And that was great. And then after that, everything just feels really repetitive. Anyway, Mahershala Ali's character, Duncan Kincaid, he's just a, mercenary with a boat. Rupert Friend's character is more or less Lewis Dodson. He doesn't work for Biosyn, though. Every character in this movie is a character you've probably seen before, just with a different actor, or a version of a character you've seen before. There's even a family in this movie. Wait for it. Divorced dad taking kids on a trip. Idiot boyfriend is along for the ride. I asked myself on the way home from watching this, I can't believe this movie was made, and then I correct myself going, no, I'm not shocked that this movie was made. Because for all the flaws that was in Jurassic World Dominion, that movie still made $1 billion. And someone at Universal went, yeah, we need to do another one. What do? We need to get them back on an island. Okay, what's the reason? Let's get the 3 biggest dinosaurs, and let's extract their DNA because they have the biggest hearts, and we can maybe make up a cure for heart disease. Okay. That's literally the plot of the movie. No joke. Like, Rupert Friend's character assembles these people, and they go to the island to get the 3 biggest dinosaurs on the island's DNA to try and make a cure for heart disease that Rupert Friend is going to sell to the highest bidder. Not for billions, no, trillions. There's a real world connection because billionaires can't be any more richer than they already are. No, the ceiling is no longer billions of dollars. The ceiling is now trillions of dollars. The family itself, too, both plots of this movie just feel really lazy. Because the family, it's the dad and he's got his 2 daughters, and the oldest daughter's boyfriend is along for the ride. They're on a boat, they're sailing, and they're on like a trip from one end of the world, like, one coast to another coast, and then they get hit by the Mosasaur, and that gets all upended, and then they send out a SOS, and who comes to save them? Well, our ragtag group of people who are going to the equator to do this very illegal thing that has been banned by every government on the planet, being like, no, you can't go here because this is the only place where dinosaurs exist, and that's a no-no. Oh no, we need to turn this boat around and go save these people, even though we're doing something completely illegal. What? If I had to sum up this movie in one word, it's contrived. It is one of the most contrived films I have ever watched. And like I said, I like dinosaurs. I like the dino movies. This one as it progressed, I just kept asking more questions, and I'm just like, why? Why was any of this necessary? Were the kills good? Yeah. Was it nice to watch Ed Skrein get eaten alive by a Spinosaurus on the water? Yeah. Was it cool to watch another guy get eaten by a Quetzalcoatlus? However the hell it's pronounced? Yeah. But again, if that's all this franchise has to offer, is there really any gas left in the tank? I don't know. Because, and that's another thing about this movie. It's superbly predictable. They get all 3 samples of the DNA. Rupert Friend's character double crosses them. They unleash the D-Rex. Guess what? He gets eaten by the D-Rex. Spoilers. Everyone else, they're fine. They make it on a boat. Everyone else is fine. There's velociraptors that get eaten by these flying velociraptors. That's fine. Like, I really went into this movie hoping that, like, Gareth Edwards' visual prowess and David Koepp's skills as a writer would, like, be a benefit. And I gotta be brutally honest, like the only thing appealing about it is the fact that Gareth Edwards made this movie, and it is visually really good looking. It is a visually great looking film. But these characters, again, superbly unlikable, superbly forgettable. They are carbon copies of characters you've seen before. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too nitpicky. Maybe I'm asking a little too much about a franchise that just has, you know, the biggest significance of it is dinosaurs roaming the planet and eating people who come to the habitat they should not be coming into. I don't know, but like, yeah, and even there's a scene in this movie that is adapted from the original novel Jurassic Park from Michael Crichton that involves a T-Rex and a raft. And even that, in my opinion, it was done better in the book. The book did it better. Granted, there are massive differences because in the book it's Alan Grant and the two kids, and here it's the family that gets washed up on the island. I don't know. Like, I really wanted to come out of this going, yeah, that wasn't, you know, because let's be real, none of the Jurassic Park movies have been truly amazing since the first one, and I like Lost World. I like Jurassic Park 3. I like Jurassic World. Fallen Kingdom, I actually like the most of the new trilogy. Dominion was kind of a disappointment. This one, it is the disappointment for me. I was very disappointed by this movie. I can't even really find anything that I liked in it. I mean, the dinosaurs looked nice. They look cool. They look visually different than the other ones we've seen in the other 6. You know, there was some neat moments between characters. Honestly, like, again, I have really nothing nice to say about it because I walked out of this movie just not really digging it. I didn't like it. I didn't like a lot of the characters. You know, like, there's this, like, almost will they, won't they romance thing between, you know, Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey's character, and it's like, just kiss already. Good God, you guys like each other. It's pretty evident. And you get, like, little moments of their backstory, but not enough to actually make you care. I got nothing, guys. I really did not like Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm sorry. Like, and I've watched a lot of movies this year that I did like. We'll see what happens in a couple days when I watch Superman. We'll see. But overall, Jurassic World Rebirth is a no-go for me. Do me a favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. Tell me if you like the movie. I really want to know what people liked about this movie. Maybe you can, you know, shed some light and share some perspective on me. Let me know.